Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I know on your desk right now you have the problems we did yesterday on the Google Slides, over rounding. I did 3 of them and recorded a video and put it on the Tube of You during my first class. I'm going to do 3 of them and put it on the Tube of You during this class. And I'll probably do 3 of them in my last class and put them on the Tube of You. And I'll also attach them to today's Google Classroom post. So by the end of the day, you should be able to check and see how you did on these 10 problems. For those of you that were here, or those of you that were at home and got on the Google Classroom and did your work like you're supposed to do. First, we had these 4 decimal numbers. 2 go in round to 21 and 8/10. 2 round to 21 and 9/10. Juliet, what place value are we going to round to in all of these? Okay, so what place value are we going to round? Good. We're going to round the tenths on all of these. Because this only goes to the tenths. That tells us we have to round to the tenths. When we round to the tenths, that means we look back at the hundredths. And we're going to either add 1 or add 0 to our tenths. We're either going to add 1 or we're going to add 0 to our tenths. So we look back in the hundredths place on this. Juliet, what am I going to add to my tenths? Am I going to add 1 or am I going to add 0? 0. Because the number behind it is less than 5. If the number behind it is less than 5, then you add nothing to it. And we have 8, 1, 2, 21 and 8/10. So 21 and 826 thousandths would go in the section of 21 and 8/10. Where's your paper? Yeah, for the love of Pete. The paper we have out that is going over these problems, and like when I go over it, you're looking at them to make sure you did it correctly. All right, let's look at the next one here. We have 21 and 88 hundredths. We look behind, we're rounding to our tenths, so we look back at the hundredths. We're either going to add 1 or we're going to add 0 to our tenths. And so, Mr. Park, what are we going to add? 1 or 0 to our tenths? The number behind it is an 8. So we need to add 1 to our tenths. And then that's a 9, and we have 21 and 9/10. So this number, 21 and 88 hundredths, rounds to 21 and 9/10. Now we have 21 and 84 hundredths. So rounding to the tenths. That means we look behind it. Michael, we're either going to add 1 or we're going to add 0 to the tenths place. What are we going to add? 0. Now let's see, that's 8 plus 0, 0, 1, 2, 21 and 8/10. So 21 and 84 hundredths rounds to 21 and 8/10. And last, but certainly not least in this problem, rounding to the tenths, we look behind it. Adam, are we going to add 1 to the tenths place or 0 to the tenths place? Add 1. Why? Because it is 5. 5 or greater, we add 1 to the place value we're rounding. So if we add 1, that's a 9, and we have 21 and 9/10. So 21 and 855 thousandths rounds to 21 and 9/10. Easy peasy, raw chicken squeezy. I don't think that'd be very good, but we're going to raw chicken squeezy anyway. Which two do not round to 7 5/10. So what place value are we going to round to? Dell? Are we going to round the whole number, tenths, hundredths, thousandths? Round to the tenths. So we're going to round all of these to the tenths. And our answer are the ones that do not round to 7 5/10. Not the ones that do, because it says not. The ones that do not round to 7 5/10. So 7 562 thousandths. I got my tenths place. I look behind it. Am I going to add 1 or 0 to the tenths place? Anyone?
1.
1. Why?
Because 6 is greater than 5.
Good. So I add 1, and then I get 7 6/10. So is this an answer or is it not an answer? It is an answer, because I'm looking for the ones that do not round to 7 5/10. All right, we have 7 427 thousandths. We look behind the 4. Behind the 4 is a 2. So am I going to add 1 or am I going to add 0 to the tenths place? Anyone? 0. And so I'm going to get 7 4/10. So boom, I found my 2 answers, because they do not round to 7 5/10. This does round to 7 5/10 because I'd add 1. This does round to 7 5/10 because I'd add 0. And last, but certainly not least, we have this problem that says round to the underlined place value. So what place value is underlined?
0.
That's a number. What place value is it? Hundredths. Good. So we're going to look at the thousandths. We're either going to add 1 to the hundredths place, or we're going to add 0 to the hundredths place.
1.
We're going to add 1. Why?
Because there's no more. Yes, or.
Okay? Because the number behind it is 5 or more. So this would round to 7 41 hundredths. 7 41 hundredths. Rounding's easy.
Yeah.
Boom! Shakalaka, peace out. God bless. Love you. Do something kind today. Save the bees, please.